Neil Gillingham brings his girlfriend Mel to the only place he has to remember his grandmother, a tree in Bournemouth Gardens planted in her memory. Carol Packman disappeared in 1985 from her family home just a short distance from this spot, which she shared at the time with husband Russell, daughter Samantha, Neil's mother, and Russell's mistress Patricia. Despite her body never being found, Russell Causley was convicted of her murder in 2004 following 2 trials. Neil and his family continue to be haunted by the fact that his grandfathers refused to admit where Carol's remains are, and were horrified to learn that he's to be considered for parole again.
What's difficult about this is a recurring issue, and every year, every 12 months, we have to go through the same process once again, where we have to put our argument across as to why my grandfather shouldn't be released. I think it's very, very clear that, we've suffered now for 32 years as a family. When's this going to stop? This isn't right, and I think that my grandfather, once again, is just playing another game, just to be able to assert his control over us as a family. It's terrible.
Neil and his family are strong supporters of the campaign known as Helen's Law, which calls for legislation meaning convicted murderers won't be considered for parole if they haven't disclosed where their victim's body is. And they're worried that Causley's being considered for release before such a law's been introduced.
There's this massive, misconception out there that killers have to admit and show guilt and remorse to be released from their sentence. That is not correct. Killers have been released in the United Kingdom from their sentence early without admitting ever to the location of the whereabouts of the body. So, my grandfather, and this is a direct plea to him, is that ultimately, we can do a fair trade here. You give us closure, allow us to move on with our lives, you move on with your life, and by all means, I don't care what you do, just let us have closure and move on with this chapter. There is no doubt whatsoever that he is the killer, and he keeps on playing games. He's admitted to the murder, he's retracted that statement, he now says that he's a miscarriage of justice. Make up your mind, Russell, what is it?
Martin Dowse, ITV News, Bournemouth.